Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome. My name is Tasheena. If you are new or you are just coming across my videos, thank you for hitting on the video. First of all, do consider to subscribe, as this will allow me to grow here on YouTube and on this corner of the internet. Remember to like the videos, subscribe, share the videos, and the comment section is there for you to interact with me. Ask any question you may, or make any comments that you may as well. Now, with that said, thanks for supporting, and this is to the old time subscribers, or the persons who have been rocking from day one. Thank you so much for subscribing and staying tuned, and joining me on this journey to see what this journey brings. Today's video, I will be talking about the learner's license process. And a matter of fact, this is a frequently asked question, a Q&A video, or frequently asked question video about driver's license and the learner's license and its process and all that lovely stuff. So of course, I can only share from my experience and the information I was exposed to and what I did. All right, so if this is a video that interests you, definitely stay tuned and watch. So for the young persons or somebody who don't have any idea at all, so you want to drive, right? You can't just get up and drive. Yes, so there's a processing doing all of that. Now here in Jamaica, if you are at the point where you're saying you want to go for your driver's license, well, first thing you have to do is get a learner's license. Now, a learner's license is that provisional or that temporary license that you get that allows you to drive under instruction of an instructor, right? A person who is actually instructing you or teaching you how to drive. It's kind of a card, but it's somewhat different from the driver's license card itself. But once you get involved in that process, you're going to see, and also I'm going to insert a picture of each to show you the difference as well. Now, all right, so the learner's license. Let's see the first question that I have. All right, so what's the learner's license process? All right, so the very first thing that you do, if you do decide that, hey, you reach at that point where you want to get your license, you have to go to what is called the Island Traffic Authority, or what we are examination depots. Now, in each parishes in Jamaica, you have 14 parishes in Jamaica. You should have these depots in various parishes. You can do your research to see what's the nearest depot. This is what you do. Listen up very carefully. So you go to the Island Traffic Authority near you. You state the purpose for which you are there. In this case, it's a learner's license that you want to go ahead and do, right? In order to transition and do your driver's license. So usually they give you a form to complete with your name. I believe your telephone number is there. The purpose for which you are there, and they leave a space for the appointment time. They take this form after you have completed it, take it inside, and that's when you obtain a time, which is an appointment time and date that you visit to do your learner's license. Now, in a case where February 1st already went, which means the new road traffic law is in effect, the very first visit you visit, they should give you the form, because they have now decided that even at the learner's level, you need to complete this form. And this form basically is a declaration of health form. So a doctor have 2 pages on this form to complete for you, and you need to get it stamped by the JP, and you yourself need to fill out a part on that form. I believe it's the very, very first page, right? Now, you don't have to pay for the form, or you shouldn't pay for the form. You should get this form free. Now, when you get this form on that very first day, that you get back that small slip of paper that should give you appointment time and date. Now you're to get that completed, get your passport size photographs. I believe in this case, it's 2 passport size photographs that you need to take. back with you along with that form. All right. And also you need to prepare to do the learner's test, right? The learner's test. So a question, so I have my book with the questions that will be guiding me. So a question that persons typically will ask is, what age can you do this? So 17 years and older, you can go ahead and apply for your learner's license, and you do whatever you need to do, which is your driving lessons and all of that, and transition to getting your driver's license. Now, also another question is like, what's the cost, right? To obtain your learner's license. It's $1,800 to obtain it. But listen up again. So once you go, you get the appointment, date and time. They'll give you that form that you need to sign, the JP needs to stamp, and the doctor needs to sign to say that you're fit to actually go ahead and drive on the road. After you do that, now you revisit the island's traffic authority office that you went to. You sit your exam, which is 20 questions. So a question is how many questions are on the learner's license test paper. It's 20 questions. They are multiple choice questions. So you can begin even from now to practice questions. In the driving book, there are questions, and I do have a site that I used as well that I will actually put in the description box. So you can go ahead and visit that site. They do have multiple choice questions which cover a wide section of driving that will help you. And also, when you select the answer, your answer, it tell you whether or not you are correct. So I will put that site in the description box for you to visit the description box and take it out and assist yourself there. So after you got your date, you come back with your completed form. You come now prepare to do your test, which is 20 multiple choice question. They will tell you where to be seated. They will give you the form that you're going to use to fill your answer sheet, rather, and they'll give you the question paper. Now, this is not really time sensitive to say you have 20 minutes to do it, you have this time to do it. So you just do it at your pace and just go over the question. Now, multiple choice, from a teacher's perspective, multiple choice questions can be quite tricky. So, what I would suggest is that you take your time. Once you have completed the questions and fill in your answer sheet, you go back through to ensure that the answers you have placed on your answer sheet are the ones you wanted to select. And sometime during this recheck or this checking process, you realize that, oh, I selected the incorrect answer. So you just want to ensure that whatever you placed on the paper is really what you wanted. Now, once you have you have completed this, they'll come for the papers from you. You'll sit there and wait for them to mark that paper, however long of a time it takes. So, by the way, you want to ensure that you're not in a rush on these days, the day that you decide to do your learner's license permit. You're not in any rush. Just block that day or have that day booked to be there. So you sit, you wait until they mark that answer sheet, and also they'll come out with that along with the paper that you need to take to tax office to get the payment done. Now the payment is 1,800, like I've said before, that you pay. You don't pay at any island traffic authority office. You pay that directly at the tax office. Now, let's note, you only get this paper if you have passed the multiple choice question, right? I believe the paper states how much you need to get in order to pass in order for you to pass the learner's license test or the learner's permit test, in order to get that form to go to the tax office. Now, if you have passed it, you're going to be given, they're going to call your name, tell you your result, and they're going to give you that form for you to take to the tax office. That can be done the same day, the said time. As soon as you get that form or that paper, you take it to the tax office, you get it paid, and you get your receipt and they will give you your learner's license, and that's just a card. Again, I will insert a picture so you can see what it looks like, and that's the learner's license permit card. All right, so after obtaining that now, based on the update of the new road traffic law of Jamaica now, you have to wait, right? 6 months before you are able to go ahead and apply for your driver's license. Fatalities, the government is trying to ensure that they do their due diligence in ensuring persons who are coming on the road are prepared and have gotten adequate time to practice driving, right? So I did clarify how long after getting your learner's license that you're able to get your driver's license. And that is 6 months after. So you have to wait that 6 months after. So that's another question. If you can fast forward this process, no, you cannot. Do you have to use a driving school? Yes. So I stated you have to use a driving school. At what point of the 6 months you use a driving school? It's up to you, but it would make more sense if you use a driving school at the latter part of the 6 months. If you are or have started learning to drive already, I'd say use them at the latter part of the 6 months, because going to his office, you're going to need that school, because my driving school, the instructor or the leader for that school took us to the office. So that person is going to need to accompany you to that office. I mean, you have persons who have made other arrangement where you don't necessarily have to go with your school leader, but if you're a part of a train organization or a driving school, that person can accompany you as well. So that's what took place in my case. And I say us because it was two of us, another young lady was there as well. All right. So what was the experience like at the driving school? So my driving school is called Kool's Angels Driving School. That's in Mineral Heights, Maple and Clarendon. For persons who know it, persons who don't know, you can Google them. No, they're pretty professional. They're pretty cool, easy to get along with, and you just get a very natural feel of the driving. You don't feel like it's robotic, and they're very conversational, they're very friendly and professional. Can't stress that enough. Yes. And they get you where you need to be, right? Now, usually, well, at the beginning, they allow you to fill a form and you grade your driving skills so they know and have an idea of where you're at and what possible that they'll need to work on. So when I started, like I mentioned, I had already started learning to drive. So by the time I was there, I wasn't like at a one or a two. I knew a few things, you know? So it was easier to transition, and it was just a continuation for me. Now, driving schools, to decide on the one that you want, you have to do your research. Again, this is based on your location and availability to go to this location. So you want to take that into consideration. Also, it's the cost, because some of the driving schools have various costs. Hi. So some of the driving school have various costs, right? And based on what your situation is, your convenience to this location, and the cost that they're charging you, and based on the reviews that you have read and how comfortable you are with that driving school, you decide that that is the one for you or that isn't the one for you. Now, in my case, my driving school is pretty affordable. So you had a package of 10 lessons. It's 2,000 per lesson, right? And if it's the case you're paying for the package, you get a discount of 2,000, so you pay 18,000 instead of 20,000. Of course, I made use of that. And I think different driving school will have their package done differently. So again, you ask your questions when you were researching. So what I did, I went on Google, I went ahead, called these schools based on my location. I think it was about 3 or 4 driving schools were there. I picked the one based on the addresses that I saw. I picked the one closest to me, and it so happened to be the one that I went ahead with, and they were the cheapest too. So it wasn't just about location, they were the cheapest and the most affordable, and their reviews were pretty good as well. Not that the others weren't good. So that's how I selected my school. You can consider, if you're in the area, you can consider that driving school. They're pretty good. All right. So that's my experience with the driving school. And I would say they built my confidence. They gave me adequate practice in what I needed to know. I mean, you'll never know everything, and it's as you learn and you practice and you actually go ahead and drive that, you go be sharp and sharp and sharper, right? All right. So with that said, that take me out of the phase of a learner. I keep touching this thing. That take me now out of the phase of the learner's license. So when you finish your driving lessons at your driving schools, um, then the next step for you to take, of course, is to go for your learner's license. Yes. So with the learner's license, oh, this is another thing. Book that date. That particular day that you plan to go to get your driver's license done, just decide that, listen, this day is dedicated for that process and that process alone. I can't run go home to go party or to go on a date or to meet up with or go shopping. No, you have to just spend that day, because that test in itself is going to take a while. So, and when I say the test, I mean the practical test, because the theory is pretty easy. So, what's the process like doing the driver's license test? All right, so you come back again to the Island Traffic Authority ITA office that is closest to you that you used for your learner's license. Of course, you revisit this office, right? In my case, let me explain it in my case. So, I got my date through my instructor. So you would have liaised down with the necessary persons at this Island Traffic Authority office. And I take it that you yourself can go to this office too after you have made, of course, your payment to the tax office. So you had to make your payment to the tax office, which it would be the driving test or the road act test. You pay 3,340 thereabout. I'll also link the correct amount once I review that receipt. You pay that amount to do the test, and then you take your receipt along with your learner's license to your learner's license permit to the Island Traffic Authority office that you did your learner's license at. Now, once you do that, they are going to take that information. They're going to arrange the papers, because first of all, they're going to ensure that there are quite a few persons before they start this test. So they're going to arrange the papers. You're going to come in the office. So unlike the learners that we did outside under a tent, we went ahead inside to do the driving test lesson. The driving test, right? The driving test. And again, it's 20 multiple choice questions. Yes. And quite possible some other question that you may have experienced from the driving book, from the site that I'll give you, or from the previous test you'll see. So it's just to keep review. There's no mechanical aspect to it. All right. So after you've completed that process, right, you finish the question, they're going to take the paper, you sit outside again, they're going to mark it. And again, it's another waiting game. So be prepared to wait. Be patient, patient, patient. So they're going to mark it, take their time, mark it. And once they mark it, they're going to staple what needs to be stapled and so on and so forth. They're going to come outside, call your name, tell you that the vehicle that you're going to use for the road test needs to be ready. And then you're going to sit again. You're going to wait on the person that, or the examiner that will be doing your road test. No, this can be a wait depending on what point you go or what workload this person has. In my case, we waited, luckily, because it's quite hot here in Jamaica, so we waited in the vehicle on the AC. And I said we because, again, it was myself and another young lady from the same driving school. So our instructor, we use this car. So for persons who are trying to figure out how much all of this will cost, if you don't have a vehicle yourself, well, my driving school charged me 2,000 to use the vehicle. I'm not sure what your driving school will charge you, but it's an idea to ask them, or they will proactively offer that their vehicle can be used in that process. Or if you have access to a vehicle, you can decide if you want to take that risk and carry that vehicle as well. Might end up saving 2,000 in your pocket, or that might just go towards gas using that personal vehicle. Whatever you do decide, there needs to be a vehicle available for you to drive. Now, after you wait and the examiner come, he or she will give you the instructions from the Island Traffic Authority depot, from that office. You're gonna drive out to do all their instructions. You drive on the road, you do the different indication, the parallel parking, all that lovely stuff, indicate with your hands. You'll do the works. You basically do what you are asked to do by the instructor. So be prepared. So you can expect that this process will take a little time, because who knows how many instructions you'll be getting. So it's all dependent on the instructor. So after completing that process now, you wait again for your paper that has your score. Okay, so on that day that you are actually going to do the driving test, you would have needed to already organize with your school the form that needs to be completed. So just like the learner's license process, there's a form that needs to be completed, right? The driver's license form, and you need to get your doctor to sign it and also your GP to sign it as again. Oh, I'm having tongue tie. I'm a bit tongue tied. So you need to get your doctor and your JP to sign it, and there's a part that you should sign as well. You'll need to get that. So that's for the parts that require a doctor. If your doctor is not mine, 1,500 will suffice to sign up medical forms, or 2,000 depending on where you go. So remember, you had to do this at the learner's license stage, and you have to do it at the driver's license stage again. Now, also in the driver's license case, you have to get 3 stamped, well, not stamped, notarized passport size photo. So your JP again needs to notarize these, and you'll take that along with your learner's license on that particular day that you're going to the Island Traffic Authority to do the test, as well as your receipt to do the test, right? So let me recap. So on the day you decide to go to do your practical driver's license test and your theory driver's license test, you need to take your receipt that you have paid at the tax office to get this test, the road traffic test, done. You need to have your learner's license permit. You need to have the completed form, which should be signed by a doctor and stamped by a JP as well. You need to have 3 passport size photo, right? So, like I mentioned, once you complete your driving test, what they'll do is go ahead and allow you to sign your name, write a sentence, then they'll tell you when you can go ahead. And this is only in the case that you have passed. Okay? You have passed both the practical and the written, or the theory driver's license testing process. So you have passed those, they'll tell you when you can go to the tax office to go ahead and pick up. Note, it's no longer 1 week. If that was a time frame that you had that you could pick up your license, no, you have to wait a month and a week. Because based on when I went, it's roughly a month and a week that I'm going to have to wait to pick up my driver's license. So that's also in this process have changed, and there's no going around it because of the updates. This is what the process is. So you can fast forward to get it in a week. It's no longer a week, it's over a month now that you have to wait to get it. Let me check to see if I have any more questions. Yes, you hear my son in the background. Yes. All right. So, what's my experience doing the driving lesson? It wasn't a bad experience, to be honest. I told myself that, hey, I need to get this done regardless of anything. So I tried to remain calm as possible. And note, the waiting time can get persons a little nervous. Because if I recall correctly, like I said, it's 2 of us that went. And the person that went before me, she got a bit nervous because, we were waiting for a while. So guys, advise, try not to focus too much on the nerve part. Easily said than done, I know, but Just work on being calm and take it as if it's another session that you'd have had at your driving school, if that's something you're more comfortable thinking about. All right. And just try not to go saying you're going to show off any stunt or anything. Just take it slow as possible, as if you don't know much, even if you know a little bit more. You get what I'm saying? So try to do something that get your nerve under control, right? So what I did, I try not to think about it too much. When I went on the road, that was just it, and I just did what I needed to do at that point. So that is it. It wasn't a bad experience for me. So, like I said, don't let the waiting time get to you, because some places you'll be waiting a long time and you get flustered by the time it's your time to actually go and drive. And I don't know if it's strategic on their part, as well as these persons are also examining vehicles, I don't know, or doing other things first in the offices. So, who knows, right? All of which I mentioned is likely to be the case. So it was a good process. So advice for you: go prepared, right? Not focusing on the personality or the personality of the examiner or anything. No negative energy. You don't focus on that any at all. You just go with a narrowed vision that, listen, I'm going to get this done and this is what it is. If you need to repeat a scripture to keep yourself calm, you do that. Whatever you do normally when you'd be doing something very important, and whenever you get nervous, you just do the same thing here. All right. And you just take it slowly. You try to go as slow as possible. Don't try to do anything too fast, right? And you just listen carefully for the instruction that the examiner will give you. And in my case, my driving instructor from my school sat beside me, so that was a little bit more comfort to us as well. He sat beside us, and the examiner was sitting around the back beside me, because she went first, so I would have been around the back along with the examiner. So usually when the examiner had came to the vehicle, he introduced himself. So and so, I'll be your examiner. All right. And he started giving instruction. First of all, he asked who was who. So we identified ourselves, and he started giving instruction. Okay, you're going to drive out on the main road, etc., etc. I mean, these persons are human as well, and I do know some will have up a facial structural display, whatever you refer to it as. They'll have that up, and you just don't want to focus on nothing aside from, okay, I'm going to get this test done. Because if you lose focus, you'll become a little bit more nervous than you were before. So yeah, so even if they're giving attitude, being a little rigid or whatever, you don't focus on that. Focus on the purpose for which you're there, and that will keep you guided. At least that did for me. Not that our examiner was bad, he wasn't bad at all. All right. So for persons who are thinking now, I realize I have to do this and this and this and this cost differently at different phases. What's the overall cost? Now you can do the maths. I can recall all the costs or all the instances where I had to spend. So the very first thing, so remember, this is about the learner's license process along with the driver's license process in Jamaica. Now, let me recap from the financial aspect. So the first thing is the driver's license costs $1,800. You're gonna have to pay this at the tax office, correct? All right. Now, in that gap of 6 months, you should be learning to drive, which means you need to register with a driving school. Depending on your driving school, the cost can be different. In my case, it was $18,000 because my driving school charged $2,000 per lesson, and I got a discount of $2,000. So that's what two costs so far. All right. After doing that, now, and at the learner's license phase, you had to do the doctor. You had to do a doctor visit to get that form completed. You're gonna have to do the same thing to get the driver's license form completed. You're gonna have to pay for the road testing, which is like 340, I believe it was 3,340. You're gonna have to pay that. To pay for the actual driver's license, it's 7,200 for the class that I have, which will allow me to drive both truck and cars. So depending on the class of license you're doing, the cost will be different. But those are the costs associated, and not to mention the different times that you'll be going to the driving schools. Those are other miscellaneous costs, and however long you'll be there, water, juice, whatever other miscellaneous aspects you take into account as monetary aspects that you will need to bear in mind. But there you have it. I believe I covered all the questions regarding the learner's license process, what it was like for me. And guys, in both cases of doing the learner's license test theory and the driver's license test theory, I wasn't personally nervous. And they both consisted of 20 questions, and they are both multiple choice questions, right? So I wasn't nervous. You shouldn't be as well. What eliminates nervousness is being prepared. So you want to ensure that you use the site that I will put in the description box and I will insert on the screen to get you prepared. These have multiple choice questions that you'll possibly see. Also, your driving school should have a list of questions that you can go ahead and practice. Also, the driving book have at the back of it multiple choice questions that you can go ahead and review. All of which is to actually prepare you for the learner's license theory test and the learner's license and the driver's license theory test as well. But there you have it. I think I've covered everything. So overall, my experience was good, and I'm now waiting to collect my driver's license. And like I mentioned, it's no longer 1 week after doing the test that you actually go ahead and do the you get the driver's license at the tax office. It's now a month and a week. And I had to laugh. I was like, huh? So long? Really? But I hope all in all, this video was very informative for you. I did give you quite a bit of mouthful, and I hope it will guide persons, especially the younger persons who will be doing their driver's license. I suggest you do it as early as you can. So if you're 17 years or older, get it done, get it done, get it done. You don't know what opportunity will arise in life that will require you to drive. All right. So you want to just arm yourself with one more thing that make you eligible and open to several opportunities in life. All right, thank you so much for watching the video. I do hope you have subscribed, you have liked, comment, and share the video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for other videos. Bye.